Just a weekly reminder not to take yourselves too seriously and to take a deep breath, sit back, relax, and have a laugh with us. Today I'm joined by a special guest, Justice Lowe. He's a professional videographer and photographer whose college career began at Northern Kentucky University. He got into the music industry right out of college and has toured with star country artists Dustin, Lynch, and Blake Shelton. Currently, he's the director of touring content for rising country star Gavin Adcock. We used to be classmates back in the day, and we recently reconnected after just over half a decade since high school. If the last few episodes were about discipline and staying the course, this one is about trusting the vision when the path isn't clear, and having the courage to chase it anyway.
Hey everybody, I'm Justice Lowe. Happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome, Justice. We're gonna get started with just a few questions.
All right.
Um, what's something that people assume about you that's completely wrong?
Something that people assume about me that's completely wrong. I've been told I look a little standoffish when people have yet to like meet me for the first time and they're seeing me. I've been told that I look like, especially like during while I'm working, I look very like don't talk to me, but I'm the exact opposite. I Please talk to me.
That's so crazy because I feel like I remember like when we went to high school together, I didn't know you very well, but I didn't see you like that. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's something that's come with I don't know, post graduating high school and being in the adult world, I guess, I get like super focused when I'm working, especially like during a set or during a show. I'm like, I have so many things to do. So I can understand how people would get that impression, but no, in high school, definitely not. In high school, nothing was important. So everyone, I was always happy at all times, I guess, or not happy, but like always had the, oh yeah, I want to talk to everyone, but I can't really do that so much now during work and stuff.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense because like you want to show that like and present yourself in such like a serious and professional way that
For
sometimes
sure,
like it
yeah.
kind of gets away from you.
Yeah.
What's another path that almost happened for you?
Another path, I was almost a lawyer, almost did pre-law for college and then went into the family law system and wanted to work in the social work field and adoption and foster kids and stuff like that.
And I guess like what made you like change your mind like completely like 180 almost?
Well, I actually don't know if you know this, Kayla, but in high school I broke my back twice.
I did not know that. That
Yeah,
that's
it was
insane.
it was I mean in 2 years in a row I had like four different stress fractures all the way like through my spine and my discs. So I like didn't even practice or play football my entire junior or senior year.
Did you get injured in
And
football? Is that how that happened?
it was yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And so I kind of had a lot of time to myself because I couldn't play football and all my friends like were playing football at the time or doing something after school and now I wasn't because there wasn't much. So I would just pick up this old camera in the basement and mess around with it. And then the summer after junior year, heading into senior year, I met this guy who did video,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "I think you could actually like really be good at video." And I was like, "No, I want to be a lawyer. This is what I'm doing." And then broke my back again senior year.
Oh my
So
gosh.
then no football, but then I took a camera to one of our home football games and made a quick little video, and then the athletic director was like, "Yeah, let's throw this on the jumbotron." And that moment was like that was a key moment for me, like
Mm-hmm.
seeing my work put up that big for the whole game. I mean, looking back now, it was small comparatively, but like that was the biggest thing that ever happened to me at
Mm-hmm.
that point.
Yeah, totally.
And that was really cool. And so that like started to make me consider switching.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 weeks before my first semester at NKU, I switched my major and didn't tell anybody.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is such a crazy like turnaround. I guess was being a lawyer always like your thing, or was that like someone else's expectations that you were living? Like, are your parents lawyers or something like that? Like, were you following someone else's footsteps?
No, I had actually like been around in middle school and early elementary school before I moved to Northern Kentucky. I had been around a couple people who'd gone through the system, and their stories always like stuck with me because one, I had no idea what that was like, and
Mm-hmm.
two, like it's just devastating to hear some like what some of them go through, and
Yeah.
that had always like made an impression on me, but none to where like immediately I was like, oh, I wanna help people like you. It kind of like came with growing up and then getting into high school, and throughout freshman, sophomore, and junior year, all you hear about is college and going into the adult world, you know. So once those thoughts started getting, I guess, imprinted on me by my teachers in high school, is when I started to finally give some thought to what I wanted to be, and that was the one that was like most prominent.
Mm-hmm. That makes
And
sense.
yeah, it was a sudden change. I mean, ask me all the way up through graduating, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer. It was a sudden change, very quick.
Okay. Okay. And then I guess I know when we were in high school, like we had like the academies or like Ignite and stuff, and I don't think you did it, but like what was like your what made you decide whether to like stay at Simon Kenton the whole time or like I guess doing the academies if you did do them?
So I had a friend who did it. Didn't it like change to Ignite like halfway through?
Yeah, it
It
changed
was
senior
called the
year.
Academies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I had one friend who did it all 4 years, and then I had one friend who did it 1 year and then backed out.
Hmm.
And just kind of listening to their opinions, it seemed like, I don't know, at the time, it seemed like their reasons for doing the academies like wouldn't have ever benefited me.
Mm,
But
okay.
that was I don't remember what exactly was said. That was a long time ago, but I had seriously considered it, but
Hmm.
then just decided to do my junior year and senior year dual enrollment classes instead.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I know we did have like a media arts like academy. So I was like, that kind of goes into like what you're doing now, but obviously at that point you were dead set on being a lawyer.
Yeah,
So I don't think we
yeah.
had any like pre-law tracks or anything.
If I'd come to that conclusion before, then sure, I would have definitely considered it more. But yeah, it wouldn't have made sense, I don't think.
That totally makes sense. Because I know I had like kind of something similar to you. Definitely did not have like those injuries like you, thankfully. But I went to the academies, I think since it was either freshman or sophomore year.
Yeah.
And I was in the biomed track, and obviously I'm not
Mm,
doing anything biomed right now. So it
okay.
is very crazy when you see things like, oh, this is what I was going to do, and you're like on a completely different track. So
Yeah. I also feel
yeah,
like it's very unrealistic to make a freshman in high school pick what they want to do for the rest of their life, you know?
yeah. Well, I think it's also very crazy because I know like that's how we do it, like think about it in like America and stuff. But like I know I took a Portuguese class when I was in college and she went to school in Brazil and everything and she was like, "You guys are so like immature." Not like immature in the fact that like we can't handle ourselves like in America, but like they have to like decide even sooner than we do in other countries. Like they have to decide in like
Wow.
I feel like middle school or something. Like they're like, this is the track I'm going. Yeah, it's very
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. Um, but I guess what like when you think back to like where you started versus like where you are now, like what's a moment that quietly changed things for you?
Hmm. A moment that quietly changes for me. I mean, I mentioned this earlier, but having my football video played on the jumbotron was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That one was the moment where, in my head, I was like, maybe I can do this.
Mhm.
But something that like while I was already like well into the video, photo, media creation path,
Mhm.
something that changed for me was I think I was a sophomore in college.
Mhm.
I was still going to class, but like wanted to get real in the field on job experience.
Mhm.
And so I started doing this thing where once a month I would sit down, get on Instagram, find 50 people, and DM all 50 of them.
Mhm.
I did it on the 15th of every month.
Okay.
And the way that I saw it was I'm going to reach out to 50 people, and if half the people respond, I made 25 new connections that could help me in the future. It was never it was never 25 people. It was maybe one if I was lucky.
Mhm.
Two if it was a great month, like it was
Yeah.
usually mostly zero, sometimes one, sometimes two.
Mhm.
And then after about 5 months, maybe 6 months of doing that, a NFL agent saw my DM, responded and accepted and was like, "Yeah, I have a bunch of guys down in Florida. They're gonna be there in 2 weeks. We'd love to get you out there to get some content done."
That's so
And
cool.
and so I went down there and got to work with NFL players and shoot their off-season workouts, and you know got to realize that like the content space, which I love so much about being in the content space, is the people that you work with, especially the people that you work with like on a consistent basis. So like the artists that I
Mhm.
tour with, and even the athletes back then, like I was with them for an extended amount of time. You really get to know who you're working for,
Mhm.
and it's even more prominent now in the touring world. Every artist I've worked for and every touring camp, all the crew, all the band, tour managers, everybody. You really become like this family on the road because you're living with them basically in this big bus, for most
Mhm.
of the year. And so you really get to know the people and build really good relationships with them. But yeah, all that to say, the DMing thing really really changed my life.
Okay. What made you like, I guess, what made you stay like confident, cool, and collected, like, especially like when you'd only get that one answer, even though you were shooting for like 25?
Mm, I don't know that I was always calm, cool, and collected. I, I there was definitely some worry and anxiety on like what I was gonna do, but I think I've always had this ambition, I guess, and
Mhm.
really like drive to succeed. You know,
Mhm.
I always knew that it was my life and I could do what I wanted.
Yeah.
And after like going to school for a little bit to really figure out what I wanted to do and see that I really loved creating, I knew that nothing was going to stop me. I was going to do everything I absolutely could. And up to this point, I have, and I'm still doing that. And, it's in my hands and no one else's. And I'm going to do what I have to be successful.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. What's the big difference for you doing like, I guess, like athletic content versus like concert content? Because I'm sure that requires like different techniques and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's different techniques within the job, but then it's also a completely different lifestyle as well. Like when I was working with the athletes, um, in the NFL, it was like we're gonna go to certain cities. Usually it was Orlando, Florida, which
Mhm.
is where the group that I worked with or worked out in the off season. So it was like one consistent place,
Mhm.
consistent people, and a small number of people in your daily life. Like it was usually just the athletes
Mhm.
that I was talking to and communicating with and spending my time with. And then switching to touring. In country music, they do this style of touring called Weekend Warriors, which is where you're going to get on the bus on Wednesday night, you're going to go play a show on Thursday, on
Mhm.
Friday, and on Saturday. Then you're going to get home on Sunday. And then you have Monday and Tuesday at home in Nashville.
Okay.
So it's very I mean, you wake up on the bus in a new city every day, and when I'm on the road, I'm constantly needed, constantly being texted, called, you know, having things to do, and then I get home on Monday and Tuesday and I have nothing. So that flip is very drastic, going from a touring weekend to the Monday and Tuesday that I have off.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a little irregular for sure. And, going from that high level of, I don't know, feeling needed or important to no one, like, and it slowing down and coming to like almost a dead stop on Monday and Tuesday is kind of
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And then also dealing with, as far as like shooting goes, when you're at a workout, you have the whole 4 hours to get what you need. And usually you can get it done in two because there's only so many different looks you can get in an
Yeah.
off-season field.
Yeah.
With a concert, it's very fast paced. If you're on a headline tour, which I am lucky to most of the time, you get 90 minutes for the headline artist. You get an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And there are moments in the set which I pick up on as the year goes on because they're not going to change. So like the
Mm-hmm.
more I see the set and the more I go through the shows, where I learn like, oh, okay, so I shot this moment here where he reaches out to the crowd, or there's a cool moment with the lights. I shot that from the stage last time, so let me go out to the stands and shoot it there next time. And so having to be cognizant of that and thinking constantly about where you want to be, it's very intentional during the set to get the looks that you want. And yeah, very busy, very fast paced, and so I have less time to swap out lenses or get a battery, so I'm carrying a lot of stuff on me and being very fast because you blink and the moment's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely for sure. Because I mean, I know like going to like the concerts and stuff, I feel like sometimes you do see like the camera people like doing all the work, and then like other times like you guys like blend in pretty well, and it's like wow, like how did they get all these shots when you didn't even see them?
Yeah,
So that's
I,
kind of
I, I try to
crazy.
I try to wear all black to kind of keep myself as
Hmm.
visible as, or as like least visible as possible.
And then I guess you kind of talked about like going from like a really, really busy schedule to like having like absolutely nothing. I guess is that like that time and do you cherish it or does it make you like a little bit anxious that like there's really nothing going on? Like you feel like you should be doing something but you're not.
I'd say it's a healthy mix of both. I have friends in Nashville and people that I need to see, and my girlfriend and stuff like that. So like my Monday and Tuesday days off are very valuable in that stance, in that way.
Hmm.
But then also it's like, this is my job and I love what I do. So of course I always want to get back out as quick as I can. It really, where it really starts to like get, I don't know, troublesome, you could call it, is the
Hmm.
end of the year. So like we'll play our last show maybe December, early
Hmm.
December, like 2 weeks before Christmas, and then we're not touring again until maybe end of January, but probably like mid-February. So we have a long time off. And
Hmm.
so it's like, how do I fill my time? What do I do? And then I get a little crazy because I want to be on the road. So it kind of comes and goes on either side of the spectrum.
Hmm.
It really just kind of depends on how I'm feeling throughout the year and things that I want to do and people I need to see. It's a little better during the holidays because then I'll like go home and see my family and old friends and stuff like that. But even then, it's like, yeah, I'm ready to get back out there and play another show. But we have so long to wait, and then maybe there's some off season stuff that I'm gonna do with my artist. Maybe he's putting out a song or working on a project at home, which will like
Hmm.
get me hold me over for long enough. But I tour and I want to tour, and so it's you can get a little stir crazy in the off months that you have.
And then when you are in your off months, do you have to find other freelance work or do you still get like compensated for just holidays and stuff like that?
So this is actually a new thing that happened for me late last year, like in December, and even probably carried over to January this year. I got put
Hmm.
on salary by the artist that I work for. His name's Gavin Adcock. He's a country music artist. And
Hmm.
so whether we tour or not, I'm getting paid by him, and
Hmm.
so basically I'm on call, quote unquote, I'm on call. And so if he's like, hey, I want to shoot this in Nashville today, I have to be there. Or if he's like, hey, I'm doing this here at this time, I'm going to be there.
Hmm.
But the other side of that is in December and January when we're not touring, I can find other work if I so choose to. But
Hmm.
for the first time in my media career, I don't have to.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And
Yeah.
I guess, do you see yourself continuing like in the music like era, or do you see yourself like going back to sports at some point? Like which one did you like better? I know they all have their like perks and but like which one?
Um, yeah, I think music is very fun and touring is fun. I think I'm gonna tour for as long as I can. I never really stopped doing sports. I still do it from time to time when
Hmm.
I have the time and if it makes sense for me. But yeah, music is the space that I've felt most at home and I've had a lot of fun doing it. I don't know if touring is always going to be the answer. Maybe I want to become a director and work out of Nashville and get flown out to wherever we're shooting and become a music video director. But I guess I gotta monitor the industry and see what happens to music videos as the world changes in front of our eyes.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Do you see yourself like staying within the country music era, or do you think like you would go into like other different types of music genres?
I would love to go on an R&B or a pop or a rap tour. You know,
Hmm.
when I was deciding that I wanted to tour, it was either in my mind it was either Nashville or LA
Hmm.
because those
Yeah.
are the two big like industry locations.
Hmm.
Nashville was, as you know, 4 hours away from Northern Kentucky, and LA was
Hmm.
34 hours away.
Yeah.
So I picked Nashville to start. Um, and so country music was never like the ultimate goal. I am loving being in the country music space because of the familial feel that you get with the people that you work for.
Hmm.
But no, like I mean, my favorite artist of all time is Justin Bieber. So like, I
Okay.
definitely have,
Okay.
yeah, I definitely have a like um, desire and more of a, I guess, musical liking towards R&B and pop music and rap music. So getting on a tour like that would be insane, but also way busier
Hmm.
comparatively because country music does the weekend warrior style, but like a pop tour or a rap tour is going to go on tour from February to May, and you're going to be not home from February to May. From the beginning of the tour to the end of the tour, you're not going to be home.
Hmm.
And last year in 2025, I did do a pop tour with James Blunt, if you know
Okay.
who that
That's
is.
I do know who that
Yeah,
is. That's super cool.
yeah, it was like a 20th anniversary tour, and it was only 4 weeks long, but still, we were gone for the entire 4 weeks. I didn't
Wow.
come home once until the tour was done, so I got a little taste of it, and it is a different, even, I mean, you're doing the same thing, but it is a different beast
Hmm.
without those couple days home, so it's like, it all, I don't know, we'll have to see where it goes, but I would like to work in the pop space at least, maybe not even touring, or the R&B space at least, maybe not even touring, but just like working with artists in those spaces.
No, that's super cool. And I'm so glad like the way everything's like panned out for you. It's amazing and you deserve it.
Thank
Um
you. Thank you.
I will say that it is very interesting because I'm not like super I guess like into the music space
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely want to do some sort of because I'm a marketing major. I want to do some sort
Mm-hmm.
of like film or entertainment marketing or even like music marketing, but like it's just so like interesting and like how to like get yourself into those spaces, especially like without an like agent or anything like that. So I'm pretty proud of like what you've done for yourself without like any other like outside help, so to speak. Like,
Thank you. Thank you. That
um,
means a lot.
but I would say that like recently I was like in a music video as like an extra or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
it was super cool to like see like how like the whole thing like kind of comes together.
Yeah,
And
those
like
production
this like
sets are pretty
it's
crazy, aren't they?
crazy. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow. Because I just, even if I'm not like doing the marketing or I'm not in front of the camera or something like that, it's just awesome to be in that space. And like you said, like networking and stuff like that. It's definitely
Yeah.
like a good tool to have.
Yeah,
Um,
the production of it all, like music video sets, it's a different beast. I've been on a couple, and I've been on a couple commercial sets doing like behind the scenes, and I even got the opportunity last year to direct a music video, and
that's super cool.
it actually went number one on iTunes Country for like 4 days, which was a crazy
Okay.
experience. And
Okay.
it was number four across all genres. I lost I the one, two, and three spots were all held by freaking Lady Gaga, and
Wow.
we had number four all genres and number one on country, and it only lasted like that for like 4 days, but that was a cool 4 days, and so that's what's like kind of started the ooh maybe I want to direct experience because I love
Hmm.
being on set and like watching that big production, and it even on tour it takes a village, but you're not traveling all the time, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's I've been on four, maybe five different production sets in my time in Nashville, and all five of the crews and cast and everyone there has been completely different, and everyone has a different creative mind and brain and way to work, and seeing all that is very interesting.
Hmm. That's so cool. And I guess you did mention about being like away for most of the time with the weekend warrior stuff. How does like your, I guess, how does your relationship, like I know you said you had like a girlfriend, like how does it kind of like, what does she do for work? Or like, is she also kind of like moving around a lot? So it's like, doesn't seem like you're away for so long or,
She's in school right now and
okay.
just like has a day job to help pay for school and stuff like that and pay for living as and up until she graduates. But when we were, I guess, at the very beginning of our relationship, I kind of had told her like I'm touring. This is what I want to do. Like there may be times where I'm only gone for 2 days. There may be times where I'm gone for 4 weeks and 2 months. And we've seen every end of the spectrum. But she's been supportive from the start, which I'm very lucky for. And it wouldn't have worked if she wasn't. So she's she's down with my dreams and fully supports me. And I couldn't be more grateful for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you found someone because it is definitely tough out there these days.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that's so awesome. What's something that you failed at that actually helped you later?
Mm, um, so after I got that first NFL agent to respond to me, I started messaging more NFL agents,
Hmm.
and some of them from more high profile athletes. And I had sent my work from my first group of NFL athletes and sent it to this agent. And he told me
Hmm.
straight up, he was like, I don't think you're very good. And I
Oh,
still have the screenshot. He was like,
wow.
I don't think your work is good at all. And I screenshotted that. It was my lock screen for a long time,
Hmm.
and that just like instilled such a I don't know how to screw
Like a
you watch
fire. Yeah.
yeah like screw you watch me do this
Hmm.
instead,
Hmm.
and that's been my attitude ever since. So I mean, he shout out that agent for doing that because he put a whole new work ethic and drive and determination into my mind.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely find it so interesting, like what some people perceive as like really good versus like other people are like, eh. And I think it's very interesting, especially like this is coming from a different standpoint, just like working at Disney and stuff. But people will come in and we do like this thing called pin trading all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some mystery pins that we'll put on the back. And obviously it just depends on like the cast member if they want to do that, if they don't want to. And sometimes I'll have like a really good pin on the back. Like I know it's good because we have these new pins that have diamonds on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll flip it and sometimes they'll just like look at me like, no, like I don't want that. And you're like, you just worked so hard for the trivia and you like hate the pin.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel
Yeah.
like maybe I shouldn't have put that pin back there or something like that. But honestly, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder sometimes because honestly, like
Exactly.
sometimes like I remember I opened a couple of pin packs that were mystery and
Mm-hmm.
they were chasers, and there was this Grogu chaser. I don't know anything about Star Wars, so I traded that pin.
Mm-hmm.
I got it twice. Didn't even realize it was a chaser. Traded it twice, got whatever I wanted, and that's like kind of what like made me think like, there could be a really good pin or there could be something that's really good, but it's just not fit or tailored to that person. It's like whatever
Sure,
you
yeah.
produced or did wasn't necessarily bad. It's just like it might not be what they were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like how I kind of started thinking about life. Like, you're not a bad pin, or like, you're not a bad person. You're not like a bad XYZ. It's just that's how
Mm-hmm.
that person like sees it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's definitely crazy. But I'm glad it lit another like fire into you, shifted you into another gear.
Yeah. It definitely like was a that was a key moment, even though it was like very hard at the beginning. It like changed me.
Yeah. Like, how did people react when you changed directions? Obviously, like you had to tell your friends, had to tell your parents eventually that you switched into like the media space versus
Yeah.
law.
Yeah. So I think the day before, maybe 2 days before I moved into my dorm at Northern, um, I was like, oh, by the way, I'm not doing law anymore. I'm switching to video. And my parents were like, that's great.
Hmm.
If that's what you want to do. I don't
Hmm.
know if, I don't know if, I mean, I think everyone had some like sort of worry on what I was gonna do post all of that and
Hmm.
what kind of like job I'd be doing and if I would be stable and stuff like that. And even I had people like in my community kind of be like, ooh, like I don't know really what you would do with that. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't, I don't know if that makes real sense for you. And I was like, well, I'm gonna make it work. And I've tried to, so
Yeah, no, I'm totally get it. I'm glad that your parents were supportive though, because I know like I've always for some reason had like this urge or like this need or want to be like I don't know if it's like famous or like rich or something, but like I just wanted to be like well known. And I
mm-hmm,
felt like my mom is Asian and she's like and it's not like stereotypical, but like she's like, oh, you need to be like something that's like a profession, like a nurse
mm-hmm,
or a doctor or like something like that.
mm-hmm,
And just even me coming out with like doing like business and everything is so it's not like a bad thing. I think they just want to know like what are you gonna do with it type of thing. And I feel like
yeah,
everything these days, whether you're working at a hospital or you're on set, everything requires business and marketing. So I was like, I could do
for sure,
anything I want with it. And I
yeah,
think until they like see you like go through with that and like you're actually like making a salary, like kind of like you, like you're actually making a salary, like they're not gonna like believe it or like have trust that you're set to go until like
yeah,
you have that. So
yeah.
it's definitely very interesting.
I'm sure when I told them, they were very surface level supportive and had their worries.
Hmm.
But I'd like to think I've mitigated those now.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, what's one habit you're trying to unlearn?
One habit I'm trying to unlearn.
Hmm.
To stop comparing myself to and my work to other people and other people's work is something I'm trying to get rid of because comparison is the thief of joy and seeing people that I admire and their work that I admire and wanting to get there is good, but making diminishing the value of my work because of that is something that I've struggled with before and sometimes still do. So,
Yeah, I would say that's definitely like a good habit to try to unlearn because like you can I feel like you have to be your own like biggest competitor. Like you should be comparing like where you started to where you are now versus like
hmm,
you and other people because some people we just have different styles and different ways of doing stuff. So it's not always healthy to compare to others, even if you do aspire to be where they are.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I have started to do that more. Like as these kind of big things are happening for me, I'll look at the pictures and videos I took at SK and they're terrible. and but at the time, I thought I was like crushing it and doing so good. And even some of my first NFL stuff, I was like, this is the greatest stuff I've ever done in my entire life. But even still, now looking back, I'm like, I've grown a lot, which I'm grateful for.
hmm.
Um, but it is cool to see that. And even then, like I'll be 5 years from now looking at the work that I just shot on Saturday and being like,
Hmm.
oof, I like have grown a lot. But even now, I'm like, I love the pictures I took on Saturday. So it all is just like with growth, you'll see. Hindsight's always 2020, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Um, what's a success looked like to you now versus before?
Success before, to me, I really don't even know. I just knew that I wanted to be creative, but also pay the bills. So
Yeah, yeah.
whatever way that looked like, that was successful to me. But now, mm, I don't know. I always wonder what me 5 years from now is up to, what he's doing, and I'm always chasing that, and I have no idea what that looks like. But I'm on tour with a fairly big artist in the country music space, and he's paying me a salary, and I am enjoying a lot of freedom when I'm not on the road, which is very fun and exciting.
Hmm.
But I think, you know, I always, in any field that I've ever considered, I've always told myself I wanted to work to be one of the greats.
Hmm.
So I'd love to, be a photographer that, in not even photographer, but just a creative in general that people
Hmm.
know and look up to and want to, be like, which might sound like arrogant or whatever, but I want to, the work of mine that I've printed off and canvases that I have and photo books that I have,
Hmm.
200 years from now, maybe my great grandkids will still have those and can know who I am through my work and have pieces of me through my work. Or maybe, if I ever sell my prints or sell a photo book and people buy it, and that lasting impression is that legacy aspect is has always been a thought on my mind. Like, what am I going to leave behind?
That's totally fair, and it's definitely not arrogant at all. Like, you should always strive to be the best in like whatever you're doing, because if you're not trying your best, like, why are you doing it? Um,
Exactly.
But I did see, I think you posted on Facebook like a few weeks ago or a week ago that you are doing some sort of photo book, and I did definitely consider, and I'm still thinking about buying it. I just didn't have my paycheck yet.
No, you're good. Yeah,
But
little test run before
yeah, you
I.
want to talk about that?
Yeah, so the 22nd of February this year was 2 years touring, and so I kind of looked back at all my pictures and stuff and picked like my favorite ones, put them in this little photo book. And at first it was just for me, and I bought one and got a test print back, and it was awesome. And I had never held my work in my hands before. It's always been on a
Hmm.
phone or my computer. I've never touched it. And that was a very surreal experience. And so I was like, maybe this would be something that people would wanted to buy. So I kind of was like gathering or garnishing public interest, and release it to my friends and family first for just the cost of printing, just to see. And people have bought some and they've gotten their prints and they've sent me some feedback and people have been liking them. So I don't know, maybe I'll set a book in front of this backdrop that I got and take some pictures and videos and make a little video about it and sell it, to the general public at a mass appeal type distribution. But for now, it's been really cool to see, some feedback. So I'm definitely considering doing something like that. But people who I know and love and they support me have been getting some copies and they are very pleased with them. And even some people are like, next time you're in town, you got to sign this. Like, this is crazy. So it's been really cool to get that sort of feedback from those people.
Yeah, that's honestly, that's totally awesome. And it's always different holding your work physically than it is like just seeing it. Because you always see
Absolutely.
your stuff like online, because that's like where you're like where you do all the editing and everything. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely
holding it,
awesome.
getting that first test print back was unbelievable. And then, um, I started like going down the rabbit hole of physical media, and I'm that's like something that I'm gonna be very diligent about this year. So I have this new portable photo printer, and I got this moleskin journal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been printing my favorite picture from every shoot that I've did and putting it in this journal, and then underneath writing just like a few notes about the shoot or the show or stuff like that. And so at the end of the year, if we have 108 shows and then I do 50 side shoots, I'll have 178 pictures to look back on when it's January 1st, 2027, of what my 2026 was like, and stuff like that, and be able to hold it in my hands. And I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's definitely so awesome. I do remember also I was on your TikTok and there was a time where like all your camera equipment, it was like, I don't know, your car got broken into or something. Like how did you like pick yourself back up after that?
Oof, that was rough. I almost didn't. Almost didn't pick myself up. I was in Nashville for 2 months, wrecked my car, and lost basically everything that I had owned shortly after.
Wow.
And it was rough. And I was like, maybe I'll move back home.
Yeah.
And, I was fortunate enough to have a great support system around me and had met great people at in that short time living in Nashville. And at that time, when my stuff was stolen, shortly after, I was meeting with Dustin
Mm-hmm.
Lynch's team and my mentor now, to discuss going on tour with him. And
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna say yes, and I'm just gonna figure it out. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have enough to go on tour until 4 days before bus call that very first week, and had some friends who gathered around me. Some had some old gear lying around, and I had the bare minimum. I thought I had the bare minimum of what I needed to be successful. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had one camera body, only a couple batteries. I had one lens, and I was lucky that I wasn't in the photo pit all the time, and I got to be on stage because I worked with the artist personally. I was
Mm-hmm.
able to, kind of be wherever I needed to get the shot. But for a long time, I was only touring with one 35 millimeter lens and one camera body. And now I have a bunch of lenses and stuff, and I've made my way back to what I had before, and then some. But it was pretty rough, and I just had to make it work. And I did, and worked like hell, and did whatever I needed.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad you stuck with it because like that would have been crazy for like all these things that have happened for you so far, and if you would have just like went back home and given up, like you don't know where you would be like right now. So that's
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I'm thankful every day for my drive and determination and ambition and willingness to stick through it and crawl out of the
Mm.
mud.
Was it like scary, I guess, moving out of town? Like, do you have family in Nashville or Tennessee, or did you just like were you just
No,
like these are the two places, and I this one's closer, so I'm gonna go to this one.
basically, yeah. So
Okay.
it was a little nerve-wracking on that drive. Like, I have no family in Nashville and nothing like that. So that drive down from Northern Kentucky to Nashville was interesting, and I was nervous and scared, and but on the surface I looked fine because that's what I wanted people to believe. And even still, like, on some level, I had to be fine because, like I said, like, nothing was going to stop me, and I knew that if I wanted to be successful, I was going to be. So there was a little of both,
Mm-hmm.
excitement, nervousness, scared, all of it.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad that like you chose the path that you chose. I mean, it's definitely the
Thank
one
you.
that's less traveled on. So,
Yeah,
you definitely did a great, like you've been doing great and hopefully there's great things coming your way.
thank
Um,
you.
but now we're gonna go into the final whistle. So
All right.
basically, I'm just gonna ask you some quick questions. You'll answer. I already know one of your answers from earlier, but we'll ask it anyway. All right.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Purple.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl for sure.
Honestly, same. Who's your favorite athlete?
Um, Either Tom Brady or Jason Tatum.
Okay. And do you have a favorite female athlete as well?
Serena Williams.
All right. And then what's your favorite music genre?
R&B or pop?
Favorite movie genre?
Oof. I love horror movies, but maybe I love comedies too.
Okay, okay. And your favorite artist is Justin Bieber. We
Justin
already know
Bieber.
that. Do
Yep.
you have a favorite actress?
Favorite actress. Um, Sigourney Weaver, probably.
Okay. And then do you have a favorite artist that's a female?
SZA.
All right, all right. And do you have a favorite actor?
Mm, favorite actor. Maybe like a Marlon Brando, or honestly, Timothy Chalamet's killing things right now. I've liked a lot of his work.
No, he's so funny. He's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, and now we're at our signature end question. If you could title this chapter, what would it be?
Mm, mm. That's a good question. I would say new normal.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
It is a new
Thank you.
normal.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for joining me today and
Yeah.
making the
Thanks for
time.
having me. This has been cool. My first podcast, so this has been a cool experience.
Awesome, awesome. And yeah, this is my whole first time. This is my whole first season doing a podcast. So hopefully in the end, when I look back at it, it does well. But honestly,
I hope
even if it's
so.
just for me, I can say I did it. So yeah.
Exactly, and it's the same for me. Stuff I make, if it even if it's just for me, I can say that I did it. So I hope either if it's successful for you, that's great. But if not, I hope it was valuable for you, and you had a great experience.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll dive into more guest journeys and experiences in future episodes. But for now, wherever you're listening from, whether you're driving, walking, or lying in bed, I want you to reflect on this. When you look at the goals you're working toward right now, are you willing to embrace both the lows and highs that come with building something meaningful? As I wrap up this episode of Lows and Highs, I'll leave you with this. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to maintain the tenacity after falling short. Persistence is key, especially when things don't go the way you planned. Life isn't always sunshine and rainbows, but there's often growth on the other side of the storm. And sometimes that storm might feel like a Category 5, especially when there are hills and mountains along the way. But hunker down and keep your stride anyway, even if you trip and fall a few times on the climb. Sometimes the highs only reveal themselves after you take your first real gut check. That's a wrap for this episode of the Collegiate Chronicle. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you got a good laugh, learned something new, or maybe just felt a little more prepared for whatever college throws your way. If you enjoyed today's show, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Got a wild college story or a topic you want us to dive into? Hit us up on social media or drop us a message. We might just feature it next time. Until then, stay safe, have fun, and remember, college is as much about the journey as it is about the destination. Catch you next time!